Hello everyone, episode 10, day 5 of Most Expected Topics for Prelims 2020. 46th topic, 10th episode, Indo-Pacific Division. So, in Ministry of External Affairs, a new division was being constituted by subsuming Indian Ocean Rim Association, which is called as IORA, ASEAN region, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, Quad means USA, Australia, Japan and India. So these three together formed into a single division called as Indo-Pacific Division. What? Indian Ocean Rim Association, Asian region and Quad, USA, Australia, Japan, India together is called as Quad. What is the significance? Ministry of External Affairs territorial divisions are crucial for policy making. So the creation of an Indo-Pacific division is a big step by the government. The new division is intended to give a coherent architecture to the policy, which was articulated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Shangri-La Dialogue in 2018. So there is a Shangri-La Dialogue, which is very famous, which started in 2002. Shangri-La is a resort in Singapore, whereby the dialogue between 28 Indo-Pacific, Asia-Pacific countries will participate in the strategic dialogue. That particular strategic dialogue was being conducted at Shangri-La. So this idea of forming a Indo-Pacific division was being arised in Shangri-La Dialogue 2018. Why is Indo-Pacific region significant for India? That means we are understanding that Indo-Pacific region is very significant by this. By this subsuming, we can come to a conclusion that for India, Indo-Pacific region is a high priority. India is planning to put greater energy to the Indian Ocean Region Association because the heart of its Indo-Pacific policy is rooted in the Indian Ocean region. This integrates the blue economy part of Indian policy with the security part. So it's not only about the economy part, it's also about the security part, because in order to contain the China. Why? Because the China is coming with pearls of string, one belt, one road initiative. So because of that initiatives, we need to be very careful. So we are concentrating on Indian Ocean region and Asia Pacific region, because of which we are coming up with Indo-Pacific division. This integrates the blue economy part of Indian policy with the security part. In its Indo-Pacific diplomacy, India has repeatedly placed ASEAN at the center of its policy. ASEAN by itself does not actually speak as a united entity, particularly when confronted by China's overwhelming presence. While ASEAN is wary of China, it is equally wary of the US and its allies, preferring to keep the Asian region outside greater influence of China. Coming up with what division? Indo-Pacific division. So whoever is aspiring for Indian Foreign Service, now you got a new division called as Indo-Pacific division. If you become Indian Foreign Service officer, then you can have a very good role in India Pacific division, Indo-Pacific division. So the next topic, it is that India wants to address and engage with Singapore, Vietnam and now Indonesia are key partners in the region for India, not China. This will also involve the Quad and taking this new group to the region. Means Australia, Japan and USA with India. What is this Shangri-La Dialogue? The dialogue, also called as IIS Asia Security Summit, was launched in 2002 by British think tank called as International Institute for Strategic Studies and the Singaporean government. This annual dialogue, that means yearly there will be a dialogue called as Shangri-La Dialogue, brings together defense ministers and military chiefs from 28 Asia Pacific countries, as I told you earlier, to talk about security in the region. It gets its name from the location of the meeting, the Shangri-La Hotel in Singapore. It is a hotel resort. So this is what Shangri-La Dialogue. Now we are Vande Bharat Express. It is India's first indigenously built engineless semi-high-speed train. It was earlier named as Train 18. The name is Train 18. It runs between the Delhi and Varanasi at a maximum speed of 160 km per hour. It has been built by Integral Coach Factory Chennai in a record time of 20 months. Yes, it need to be appreciated. The train is 100% Make in India project and is claimed to be built at half the cost of a similar train set that is imported. If the same train, if it might be imported, then it will be double the cost. But we got it of the rate than import. It is energy efficient as its coaches will be fitted with LED lights. Coaches will have automatic doors and retractable footsteps. It will be interconnected with fully sealed gangways along with GPS based passenger information systems. It is provided with bio toilets. So this Vande Bharat Express, which is a train between Delhi and Varanasi, previously called as Train 18, indigenously built, half of the rate if it get imported. Energy efficient, global positioning system is inbuilt, and bio toilets are used. Prelims point of view, what are the characteristics, what are the features of Vande Bharat Express? The next, mission Chandrayaan. This is old, but I believe that this time, because of this COVID-19, there will be more number of questions from science and technology, biotechnology, space, defense. So that's why I am focusing more on science and technology. So mission Chandrayaan, what is it? On 22nd July 2019, India launched Chandrayaan 2, its second lunar exploration mission after Chandrayaan 1, from SHARC, Sriharikota, Satish Dhawan Space Center. It is a lunar orbiter, that means orbiting around the moon. Lander, it will land. Rover type mission, it will be moving on the moon. It is expected to be soft landing on the moon by 2019. Chandrayaan 2 is ISRO's first attempt to land it on extraterrestrial surface. But it was not happened, but still it's a very successful moment for India. Core objective, to map the location and abundance of lunar water. The project began in 2007 with an agreement between India's Space Research Organization ISRO and Russia's Roscosmos for a mutual cooperation. However, the mission was postponed in January 2013 and rescheduled to 2016 as Russia was unable to develop the lander on time. Thanks to it, because of which India ourselves developed this indigenous. Later, after Russia's withdrawal, India decided to develop the lunar mission independently. Finally, on 22nd July 2019, GSLV Mark III M1 on its first operational flight successfully launched Chandrayaan 2 onto the lower Earth orbit. Once successful, India will become the fourth country to soft land spacecraft on the moon after the USSR. Once successful, whether successful or not, if it gets successful, USSR, USA and China, Chandrayaan 2 will make a landing at a site where no earlier mission has gone, near the south pole of the moon. Chandrayaan 2 is natural sequel to Chandrayaan 1, an orbiter mission launched in October 2018. Try and build on the evidence of water molecules shown by Chandrayaan 1 and study the extent and distribution of water on the moon. Study topography, seismography, composition of lunar surface and the lunar atmosphere. Lunar means moon. The study of ancient rocks and craters can offer indications of origin and evolution of the moon. The south pole region of the moon also contains clues to the fossil records of early solar system. Thus, it will improve our understanding of the early solar system as well. Map the lunar surface and prepare three-dimensional maps of it. So, this is very important. Lunar mission. So, you have to understand whether the Chandrayaan 2 is successful or not, whether it landed on the moon or not. You have to make a note and you have to practice by your own. But this is a factual information, factual points you have to note for your prelims examination. Whereas for mains examination, whether Chandrayaan 2 is a bane or a boon, whether it is successful or a loss, when we are having quarter population suffering with poverty and hunger, whether it is required to send a spacecraft to the moon. Lander and rover. Strategic Petroleum Reserve, SPR. In a boost to energy security of the country, so strategic petroleum reserves, we will be having strategic petroleum reserves. We will be saving it. Why? Because we had a very bad experience in 1990 when there is a Gulf War, when Iraq invaded Kuwait, the total Gulf was boiling. At that time, the oil prices skyrocketed and we are unable to get the imports of oil. So we were in a position, one time we doesn't have 1 liter of oil also because of the absence of or stoppage of imports from Gulf. So, not to face such situation, what we did, we diversified our oil imports as well as we are also constructing strategic petroleum reserves so that our country can sustain if there is any downfall in imports. In a boost to energy security of the country, Prime Minister recently dedicated to the nation 1.33 million metric tons Visakhapatnam Strategic Petroleum Reserve Facility to Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserve Limited. The cost of the project is rupees 1125 crores. The facility has the largest underground storage component of the country. So, Visakhapatnam is the largest underground storage component in the country. about SPR, Strategic Petroleum Reserve. To ensure energy security, the Government of India has decided to set up 5 million metric tons of strategic crude oil storages at 3 locations, Visakhapatnam, Mangaluru and Padduru near Udupi, Karnataka. This strategy storages would be in addition to the existing storages of crude oil and petroleum products with oil companies and would serve as a cushion during any external supply disruptions. In the 2017-18 budget, it was announced that 2 more such caverns will be set up at Chandihol, Odisha, Bikaner in Rajasthan as part of the second part, as a part of second phase. So now where we have at Visakhapatnam, at Mangaluru as well as Padduru, and we are envisaging to construct more too at Chandihol in Odisha and Bikaner in Rajasthan. Prelims point of view, very, very important. The construction of the strategic crude oil storage facility is being managed by Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves Limited. Prelims point of view. This is managed by whom? Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves Limited, or else Ministry of Petroleum, or else Indian Oil Limited, or else none of the above. The answer is what? Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves Limited. A special purpose vehicle, only for that purpose it has been established, which is wholly owned subsidiary of Oil Industry Development Board under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. So why we want strategic oil reserves? In 1990, as the Gulf War engulfed West Asia, India was in the throes of major energy crisis. By all accounts, India's oil reserves at the time were adequate for only 3 days. While India managed to avert the crisis then, the threat of energy disruption continues to present real danger even today. Why? Because we doesn't have any oil. We doesn't have any oil reserves in our country. Our oil totally depend upon imports. That is the biggest problem for India. It is unlikely that India's energy needs will dramatically move away from fossil fuels in the near future. Over 80% of this fuels comes from imports, a majority of which is sourced from West Asia. This is a major strategic risk and poses a massive financial drain for an embattled economy and its growing current account deficit. After that, because of our exploration and excavations, we got oil at Assam, we got oil at Mumbai High, but it is not still sufficient. But some part is contributed by Indian oil, that is very negligible percent, but 80% we are depending only on imports, more than 80%. Industry 4.0. The Ministry of Railways and Department of Science and Technology with IIT Kanpur taking up a unique project on Industry 4 by launching a pilot project for implementation at Modern Coach Factory, Raebareli. So what they want to do? They want to integrate in artificial intelligence. They want to integrate virtual reality. They want to integrate augmented reality with the industry. Full transition to the digital factory using Industry 4 across entire value chain from design to production will help enhance productivity hugely by providing insight into production process to take the decisions in real time basis, minimizing human errors by effective monitoring to ensure that resources are put to the best utilization measure, by what is called as overall equipment effectiveness, by integrating with digital, by integrating with artificial intelligence, by integrating with augmented reality, by integrating with virtual reality. We are increasing the effectiveness by using the human resources, by using the resources optimally. What is Industry 4? Commonly referred to as the fourth industrial revolution. It is name given to the current trend of automation, interconnectivity and data exchange in manufacturing technologies to increase productivity. Industry 4 is a complex cyber physical systems which synergizes production with digital technologies, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, big data and analytics, machine learning and cloud computing. This all together is called as Industry 4.0. Industrial Revolution 4.0 can help in transforming India by elevating the poverty, better and low cost healthcare, financing farmers' income, providing new technology and equipment to farmers, strengthening infrastructure, improving connectivity, improve ease of living and ease of doing business. So this is a solution for Industrial Revolution 4.0. So tomorrow, day 6, episode 11, 51 to 55 will be discussing. Please take seriously. Very selectively I am doing. It is useful for your prelims. Thank you.